Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the 2022-2023 Board of Directors Meet the Candidates Town Hall. I want to congratulate the candidates that are here today, and I also want to thank Catherine Garland and the nominating committee for putting together such a great slate. I want to thank each of you for being here today to get to know these incredible members, to not only show your support for them, but to also get to know them so that you can make an informed decision when it's time to vote. I want to announce the slate who is paired together. We have Director 2022, Vice President 2023, Tiffany Mclemore with Real Living Mclemore and Company, and Saeed Nia with Coldwell Banker Collins Murray. Realtor Director 2022-2023, Tia Jennings with Keller Williams, and Monica Mauricio with Remax Experts. We have Realtor Director 2022-2023, Brian Mallory with the Mallory Firm, and Jill White from Fast Track Realty. Our Realtor Associate Director for 2022-2023 is Paige Holmes with Coldwell Banker Collins Murray, and Sarah Latham with Keller Williams. So let's give them a round of applause. Our returning 2022 Board of Director officers, we have President Bill Stewart with Remax Experts. Our President-elect will be elected in September. Our Vice President 2022 is Thomas Bird with Bird Realty Services. Our Secretary Treasurer for 2022 will be elected in September as well. Our Commercial Director is Bill Collar with Prolike Commercial. We also have Commercial Director Luke Jensen, who is appointed by the Commercial Council, and he's here today, and he will also be on the slate as well. Realtor Director 2021-2022, Scott Bettis with Prolike. Realtor Director 2021-2022, Ladora Cooper with Prime Realty and Investments. Realtor Director 2021-2022, Pablo Carrera with 901 Realtors. And Realtor Associate Director 2021-2022, Rodney Tate with Assured Realty Services. So we will have a great Board of Directors for 2022-2023, and I'm really excited about that. So I did not say who I am. I'm Cassandra Bell Warren, your 2021 president. Just a couple of announcements that I want to make just so that everyone knows. The online election opens this coming Monday, August the 16th, and it closes at 11:59 p.m. on September the 8th. There will be no in-person voting at the annual meeting, so make sure you go online. Members will receive an email containing a link and instructions on how to vote online. Computers are available here at MAAR for you to vote, and if you need assistance. The annual meeting and announcements of the election results will be held on Thursday, September the 9th at 9 a.m. at the FedEx Event Center at Shelby Farms, and breakfast will be served. As a reminder, masks will be mandatory so that we can all stay safe. And you should have a mask on at all times. The next thing is there will also be some proposed bylaws amendments, so it's critical that brokers and realtor members attend the annual meeting, one, so that we have a quorum, and two, so that we can get these bylaws changes passed. The next part is there will be a town hall about the bylaws changes on August the 27th at 9 a.m. right here in the Education Center. So we'll need everybody to come out. It'll also be available via Zoom. So for those that don't want to come out, it'll be available on Zoom. But please, please, please tune in so that you can get all the information you need about the bylaws changes that are coming. So we have these candidates that they want to tell us a little bit about themselves. So they're going to have 3 to 5 minutes each. They'll go through, tell us a little bit about themselves, and give everybody an opportunity to get to know them. So hopefully you've had a chance to read the candidates' bios and view their videos, because they took the time out to make these great videos, and I appreciate them for doing that. We've asked each of them to introduce themselves today, so that you can get a sense of who they are and why this is important for them to serve on the MAAR Board of Directors. So first up is Tiffany Mclemore with Real Living Mclemore and Company.
Tiffany Mclemore, and I'm really honored to be on this slate of candidates with some really awesome people. I've had my real estate license since 2020. When I got my license, I was, I think, about 22, 23 years old, and I was encouraged right off the bat to get active in MAAR, which I did. But I've been really blessed to have some great people that have, come along before me and encouraged me to, to stay active and to join committees and do different things. I've been on grievance, currently on professional standards, MLS committee, and education committee. And just, I feel like I couldn't be where I am today if it weren't for this awesome organization we have, the education that's available to us. And just, I'm also active in RPAC and really grateful for all the things that RPAC does for our industry. So excited for the opportunity to serve.
Saeed Neon, okay, corporate bank is called Mary.
Only someone can hear on the recording.
Okay, no problem. I'm Saeed Neon, I'm a broker with corporate bank at College Murray presently, and I've been with for like 20 years before that. My background, I'm Persian. I came to this country almost 37 years ago, and I came to Memphis, Tennessee when I arrived. I've been in University of Memphis, and in 2005, I got my license, and I'm very excited to be here. I have served almost every committee in our association. To me, it's very important to serve our association, and I think everybody that is here as a volunteer, you're going to make a huge difference, and I want to be involved. I have served grievance committee, professional standard, multi-million-dollar club, RPAC, I chair RPAC committee, so I'm very familiar with all our committees. I'm very supportive of our board. 2005 and 2006, I ran for board of director, and that was one of the best experiences I ever had. And I'm excited to do that again. 3-4 years ago, I was nominated for the same position because of my involvement. Most of you all know I have 6 boys, and at the time, 5 of them were in college. So I had to get them out of college. Today, I'm very excited to let you know all of my kids have been graduated from university, 4 of them with bachelor degree and 2 with master degree. The 2 with master degrees are in New York, and 1 is in Army, and the other 4 are in Atlanta, Georgia, and 2 in Boston. So now that I'm done with the kids, we have I was telling my wife, we become wealthy right after. Now they're spending, so I have the time, ability, and I'm excited to be here and to serve our board. Thank you so much for your support.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tia Jennings. Am I good? Did I say my name already? My name is Tia Jennings, and I became an agent in 2013. I worked up until 2017 part-time. I became full-time in 2017, and I decided to take my career full-time, and I wanted to get more involved. I spent a lot of time at MAAR before I built my business, and I was just smitten about all of the things that MAAR offered and all of the programs and all of the things that we could do and all of the things that were going on at MAAR. So I made the conscious decision to show up. I joined a couple committees, and I've been serving ever since then. I've been a realtor for 8 years. I plan to be around for a long time, and I've branded myself as the girl who keeps showing up. And I will always do that for MAAR because it's a passion of mine. I intend to show up as a realtor in the industry. I intend to show up as a friend to my peers and a mentor to anybody who needs me. And hopefully you guys will let me show up next year as a board of director. I would appreciate your vote. I appreciate being able to be here for a second consecutive year. I learned a lot from my last campaign, and I had no idea that I was gonna be able to use those things that I learned so soon. But I thank the people who believed in me enough to give me the chance to represent them in their interest for the board. I thank the nominating committee for seconding that, and I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna do the best job that I can for our organization in the industry. Thank you guys so much for coming to listen to us. I am truly honored, and hopefully you guys will vote for me. I would appreciate it. Tia Jennings, don't forget me. I'll be back.
Good morning. I'm Monica Mauricio. I'm a broker with RE/MAX Experts. And I'm honored to have been nominated to run for the 22-23 MAAR Board of Directors. I'd like to take a few minutes and share some details with you all about me that's not included in my bio. Prior to going into real estate, I was in the corporate sector and held multiple leadership positions. And I volunteered teaching English as a second language through MIFA in the community. In 1999, I got my license. And shortly thereafter, one of my ESL students called and asked me if I knew how she could buy a house. Of course, I said, I do know how you can buy a house. She became my first client. And it was a beautiful experience. 6 months prior, she spoke no English. She had come here prior from another country, saved her money working in a factory, and had hopes of becoming a homeowner. Walking that path with her made me fall in love with real estate. After the closing, she shared her experience with a friend. That friend called, bought a home, and it continued until now. Little did I know, I had unintentionally stepped into my niche. And I love real estate just as much today as I did that first transaction. MAAR was so beneficial to me as a new realtor. I would come here, buy my supplies, talk to people. I got on the Welcome Home Memphis committee and took every class I could to develop my skills, my professional skills, so that I could deliver excellence in my transactions. I'm a native Memphian. I love Memphis, and I feel like every time I sell a home, I sell a little bit of Memphis, and I like that. Now, the MAAR Board of Directors is important. This is a position of great responsibility and trust. If you elect me, I promise to make careful, good faith decisions in the best interest of MAAR members. I'm asking for your support when online voting begins Monday at 9 a.m. I would be grateful for your vote. Thank you for listening.
Good morning. I'm Brian Mallory. I appreciate everybody showing up. I've been in real estate for a good long time, maybe 20 years. Like Monica, I was in a corporate job here in Memphis. All right, thank you. Is that better? All right, let's start over. Thank you. So I've been in real estate for quite a while. I was in a corporate job at AutoZone, and it was many years ago, and I was laid off from that job. They hired a new CEO so I was laid off, and it was a devastating time. I did not expect it. I went to lunch with Bill Mallory. He was telling me about real estate, and I was thinking I'd get into real estate temporarily and then I would get another corporate job, but got into real estate and I loved it. And it was, started selling a bunch of houses. I got into selling new homes for Doug Collins, which I was awful at. Doug used to come up to the model home and coach me because I was so bad. But then I got into appraising. Went to lunch with a few friends that I grew up with who were appraisers. I got into appraising. And so I've been doing that for 20 years. About 10 years ago, I got on the Board of Equalization, dealing with property tax appeals and listening to taxpayers. That was a great experience. And so I started a business that's a property tax appeal business, which I've been very busy with lately, as has Mr. Trotz, who I've seen here today. But I appreciate the opportunity. I'm looking forward to the opportunity to serve. This is a great group of people here. My opponent, Jill, she and I served on, we went through leadership MAAR together. Great person. So if you don't vote for me, vote for Jill.
When to follow. I'm Jill White. I am a broker at Fast Track Realty. I have a past of being an educator. I taught in Memphis City Schools for 13 years before going to the State Department of Education. And in 2015, my husband loves to joke that I went through a midlife crisis and walked away and went into real estate. And that first year, he kind of joked with the children like, don't worry, mom will be back to teaching next year. Little did he know, I fell in love with this industry. I am from Memphis, graduated from White Station High School and graduated college from University of Memphis. And so it was a natural progression for me. This is my hometown. So I love working with people, helping them find a home here in my hometown because I think it's the greatest city out there. I did change companies in 2017. The broker at that time sat down with me and asked about my involvement in MAAR. I was a little bit of a rookie at that point and said, well, I take classes, but isn't that all we do? We pay fees and get to use MLS. And so he challenged me at that moment to step out of my comfort zone and sign up for a committee. Ever since then, I have been on a MAAR committee, at least one, most of the time two, for the past few years. And then this past year, I have been on the board with the Women's Council and have loved every moment of that. So this is exciting, a new part of the journey for me. Like Brian said, we were in Leadership MAAR together. So there's a few of you out there that were in that class with us. So 2 years ago, if somebody had told me I would be sitting in this position, I would have laughed because I didn't see myself that way. But Leadership MAAR really opened my eyes and opened doors. And so I'm excited to be here. And like Brian said, we kind of laughed about the two of us being on slate together because I really like this guy. And so the day they announced it, he was on Zoom and he's texting me like, I knew you were going to be my running mate. And I was like, mutual feeling there. So the great part is, he and I had a conversation after and we were like, it doesn't, whether I win or he wins, you're going to have a great person in that spot. So I'm excited to be running with Brian, kind of like him. If you don't vote for me, you can vote for him. I'm going to end it with saying we had this joke. He emailed me as part of his campaign asking for my vote. So when he came in Monday, I was kind of like, that's a no for me, dog. Like, gotta have at least one. So but we're going to have a good time with this and we appreciate you guys coming out today. Thank you.
I'm not used to the mask. Can y'all hear me? Am I good? Okay. I'm Paige Holmes with Coldwell Banker Collins Maury. And yeah, I want to say kind of what they've said. Just thank y'all for showing up today. That shows your support and dedication to this association. And I know that's all of our goals here too. So I appreciate y'all doing that. And I plan to continue doing that, whether I'm on the board or just continue to serve on committees. So thank y'all for that. And I just want to kind of give a background on my experience with MAAR. I started this journey back in 2018. And that's when I got my license, started with my brokerage, and I had great leadership there and mentors that encouraged me to apply for leadership MAAR. So I applied. I was on the 2019 leadership MAAR class. And if y'all haven't applied yet, or you haven't gotten on, keep going, do that, because it is a really great experience, and I'm thankful for that. Yeah, I did her job probably. So at the last session though, the past presidents and some of the board members came in and spoke on getting involved. And like Jill, I, just thought it's something you go to classes, and leadership MAAR was a bonus. I didn't really think to get on a committee until I listened to them speak and realized that we have a voice and can add value to the association. So I signed up for MLS and RPAC, and my thought with that was kind of MLS is a huge tool that we all benefit from. And so I would love to be able to have an impact on that and give back and have a say in what goes on with that, because it is such an important part of our industry. And then RPAC, I didn't know much about it except that it did support our industry, but I didn't know how or to the effect that it did. And being on that committee has really opened my eyes to what RPAC does. And I decided to volunteer at the Major Investors event, just more so to continue to give back, and didn't know that I would leave there becoming a major investor, but Hagen Stone really spoke to me. I mean, 2020 was a hard year, but I know a lot of us out there had an amazing year. So I wanted to be able to give back because it was RPAC that really helped us with that. So, and it's funny, when I got the call and asked if I wanted to be on this slate with everyone, I thought it was funny because I just thought like a day or two before that, oh my gosh, what am I going to do when they, committee signups are? I've done my 2 years at both these committees, and I love both these committees, but I probably should get on a different committee, or should I stay on one of these? I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and then I got the call for this. And so I was very excited and thought it was a perfect opportunity too, since I was running off of both of those committees. And so I obviously said yes, and I would be honored and excited to be a part of this board. So I hope I can have y'all's vote next week. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Sarah Layson, and I am extremely honored to be amongst some amazing talent and leaders in our industry. And I think everybody in here agrees that the world needs more leaders. And the fact that you all are here today and showing up in leadership, and everybody that's get to sit up next to up here, it's incredibly amazing for me, and I'm very humbled to be here. So a little bit about me. I have an incredible husband, Scott Layson, who I get to work alongside of day in and day out. I drug him into the industry, got him out of corporate. And I have 2 young children. So I have Ava Grace Layson, who is 5, and then Pruitt Layson, who is 3. I have been in the business since 2013, which is almost 9 years ago. I actually started in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm originally from Memphis. A lot of people think that since we have a business in Nashville, Memphis, and in Mississippi, that I'm not from Memphis. I am born and raised in Memphis. I went to the University of Memphis and actually danced under Sherry Ganong at the University of Memphis. I am extremely passionate about this industry. I'm extremely passionate about changing the lives of agents that get into this industry. And I'm also extremely passionate about creating opportunities and joining forces together as realtors and realtor associates, so that we continue to raise the value for the consumer, and that we will, for forevermore, always have the power as real estate agents to be who we are and serve the consumer at an extremely high level. So in terms of your vote, I would be honored to sit and serve along anyone and everyone up here, and also serve the best interest of you, the real estate agents in our industry. So for new agents, I want you to know I'm not that far removed from it. I've been in, I say 8 years. It doesn't seem like it goes by fast. Doesn't seem that long. So very passionate about making sure that new agents get into production, so that they stay in the industry. And then I'm also very passionate about seasoned agents and raising the bar and raising our level of professionalism. I'm passionate about the code of ethics, and I want to make sure that I serve you at a high level. So thank you for even considering me for slate. And I hope that you will consider voting for me. Thank you.
I'm last and running unopposed, so I'll be quick. Jensen, I work with commercial advisors. I do tenant rep work with office and industrial users and occupiers. I've been there since 2013. I'm actually a third generation MAAR member. My grandfather was a member. My dad is still a member. He was a first in residential and then has been in commercial for probably 30, 45 years. I have been involved on the commercial council since I think 15. I've served every role on the council. I was the president in 2020, so this year was supposed to be my last as the immediate past president, and then they asked me to hang around, do this for a couple more years. So I'm happy to be still here at MAAR, our commercial council. If you're unfamiliar with what we do, I'd love to explain it. Yes, we have 330 members plus or minus, so we're much smaller than the residential side, but our council does a lot of great work. So I'm thankful to be nominated by my peers and I guess vote for me. But I think anyway. So.
So as you can see, we have a great slate of candidates. Thank you guys so much for opening up yourselves. It was fun to get to know each of you. Now we have a few questions that we'll pose to each of you. Each candidate is paired together will have the same question to answer. And we'll start with Tiffany and Saeed. So my question is, who do you find inspiring or empowering as a leader?
That was a tough one because there's a lot of people. Can you hear me? Okay. There's been a lot of people that have inspired me along the way as leaders and influenced me. One that comes to mind, though, I've been a member of Hope Presbyterian Church for about 22 years. And when I first started there, Craig Strickland was the pastor. And watching him grow such an incredible organization in church. The philosophy there is kind of to be a church for the unchurched. And so its outreach in the community has been unbelievable. But one of the most inspiring things about him has been watching how he's transitioned after he's retired to new leadership, which is now Rufus Smith. I think some things that good leaders do is they find the talents that people have within the organization. They kind of let go of the reins and help develop those people to to delegate and to do what they're really good at. They get the right people on the bus in the right positions, and then they're able to pass the baton off in a way that you actually, it's almost seamless. Sometimes you don't see that, even though you miss seeing that person or whatever, the organization goes on just as it did previously. So, I don't know Craig Strickland super well, aside from being a part of the church. He's someone that I've, looked up to and watched from a distance, how he's done things. So.
Question, Saeed.
What is the question?
The question is.
When I think about leadership, to me, somebody like Gandhi and Martin Luther King. After I come here, I didn't know Martin Luther King, but Gandhi, it was always my hero. And the reason I love this kind of leadership is because they talk and think and believe in peace and love, and that's what is my passion. Having a leader that understands love and affection and peace.
All right, the next question's for Tia and Monica. What is the most important thing you've learned from working as a part of a team, whether that as a realtor, on a committee, a volunteer, or whatever team?
So starting in the industry when I became full-time, before I was a full-time agent. You can hear me? Before I was a full-time agent, I thought that I wasn't doing enough, or I wasn't producing, or that I would not be an asset to the committees that I thought about joining because I was not full-time. What I learned when I started to volunteer is that every role is important, no matter how small. It's important that you show up to contribute, no matter how small or trivial you think your role is, it is important. If you think about what makes up MAAR, there are lots of committees that are working behind the scenes to bring everything to fruition. There are also lots of micro committees and individuals in the background that are doing the work. I watched a video from, I think it was Mark Zuckerberg, and he was speaking on NASA and going into outer space, and somebody stopped the janitor, and he said, the janitor was sweeping, and he said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm helping send people into outer space." So that's when the light bulb came on for me. No matter how small or trivial you think your role is, it's important. It's important to show up and serve, no matter, you know, what it is that you think you do. There are lots of atomic little pieces that come together to make a massive impact. So volunteering on all of the committees and showing up to do the work is important because you're needed. And that was something that really resonated with me from volunteering, being a realtor. You know, every transaction, you're making that one transaction that we think is so small, but you're changing someone's life possibly forever. You're changing their generational lineage. So everything that you do matters, and what you do is important. And it's so important that we change our mindset around the little things. And that's something that's resonated with me over the course of my career, and volunteering and showing up. Whether I know what I'm doing or not, I can figure something out, and I can help in a small way to make a big impact on the industry or whatever that task is that I'm supporting.
Okay. I always make sure I'm serving somewhere on a volunteer basis, whether it's in the city, at church. And here, I've been pretty faithful, I think, being involved in committees. And even this week, the lesson keeps coming around. I think it is so important, whether you're sacking groceries at MIFA or whatever you're doing. Everybody is on the committee is bringing something to the table. And I'm learning every day more and more. Listen to what everyone has to say. Everyone has an opinion. And then think about what they're saying and try to see it from the big picture, from their point of view, so that the end result is what is best for everyone involved. Where MAAR is concerned, you have to think about, listen and make decisions based on what is best for our membership. So that's what I've learned most, is listen to everyone, keep that team effort going. Everyone has a voice, and get the job done.
Thank you. All right, so the next question is for Brian and Jill. And this question is, what leadership skill do you think is the most important quality to have?
That would be, for me, it would be honesty and integrity. You get one reputation in this business, and it's so important that you have in this business, and when you start out in this business, there's so many opportunities to slack off or to not, when you're a rookie in the business, and you're not as knowledgeable about transactions, you might think, oh, that's something I'm not going to address, or somebody else will handle it. But the more that you get into the business and you learn how things transact, so much more important to be direct and transparent, as much as your client relationship will allow. But I'm very direct with people. I have 3 licenses, so I have to be in my website. If you look at my website, we wear many hats. It's not we, it's just me. I'm the only person there. But I have a broker license, an appraiser license, and a taxpayer agent license. And I get calls from people, and it's very important that I'm direct with them and that they know the relationship that we have. And I take it, it's very important to me. So honesty and integrity.
Was a little nervous that Brian and I were going to have the same answer, so I feel a little relief now that I've heard his. For me, I stopped and thought about the leaders that I've worked for, and the ones that were the most efficient and productive that I truly enjoyed working with. And the characteristics that stood out to me was, number one, they cared. They honestly cared about the individuals that they worked with. It wasn't a fake thing. They had an open door policy, and they would stop what they were doing and listen. And the second thing is they were positive. Even in a moment where we know situations happen and stress gets high, they were still positive. Instead of suck it up, buttercup, you'll get through it. They were going after the solution with you and kept a positive mindset. So to me, those are the two big items that stand out as a leader.
All right, the next question is for Paige and Sarah. So do you set personal goals for yourself? Tell us how you track them and how you know if you succeeded or not.
Yes, I do set goals for myself and my business. At the end of each year, I like to kind of have a 1 to 2 day retreat with myself. And I use that to review the past year, plan my goals for the next year, and then I meet with my broker to go over it. And that holds me accountable too throughout the year. So my goals are kind of based on my why, because in this industry, I've found that I definitely want to compare myself to other agents that I either look up to or that we got in the business around the same time. So if I see them doing something, oh my gosh, I need to do that. And so I've had to really reel myself back in. And a lot of times if I know my goal is tied to my why, I kind of realize I don't need to reset my goal this year. I'm doing what I wanted to be doing. And my broker's good about checking me on that too, when I do start to want to maybe go bigger. And she reminds me that's not why I got into this. So I then have read the 12-week year, which I don't know if y'all have read that, but I highly recommend it. I would not read it on the beach. That's how I first read it. And I wanted to go up to the condo and start planning out my 12-week year instead of enjoying my vacation. So my goal is to kind of review that every year before my retreat with myself too, to help me learn to track those goals and set action items to those goals. And so that's kind of what I do throughout the year.
Can you hear me? Goals are something that I have always been extremely passionate about. So starting in athletics and in leadership, I am really big on, I come from a background of coaches. So my brother's the head coach of Christian Brothers High School, and my dad was really involved in SYS. So coaching and goal setting has always been something that I've grown up with. Where my life has been transformed is a tool called the 411. And what I learned early on is I'm the type of person that will pour my heart and soul into whatever I'm doing. But when I'm pouring my heart and soul into work, I've learned that there might be some lacking at home. And how can I counterbalance my spiritual life, my personal goals, my health goals, and last, my business? Because I can't be who I need to be without to those things that are so important in my life. If I'm only focused on work goals. So every single Friday, I look over what's called a 411. It's on the One Thing. If you ever get a chance to go to that website, it's an incredible tool. I track where I am in my fitness goals. I track where I am in my spiritual goals. And then I have a coach that holds me accountable to all of those things. Because for me personally, I'm going to set big goals. And I call them big, hairy, audacious goals, which is kind of funny. But I know that if I'm going to set a BHAG, then if I land a little bit below that, then I have accomplished so many different things in my life and my world. And my hope is that I can show that for my children. And how do I track those goals? So I track those every Friday. And then on Monday, I have everything on my calendar set for my fitness goals, spiritual goals, and personal goals. And then when I was actively in real estate, as an active agent, I don't know if anybody knows in this room, but I have not actually worked with a consumer in 3 years. So I've been more on the industry brokerage side of leadership. But when I was actively involved in day in and day out transactions, I would track every single call, every single appointment, and every single closing. And then I would also try to see from a conversion ratio standpoint how I can be better and how I can help serve the consumer better. So I'm very big on accountability. Anybody that has served with me on leadership knows that I'm probably one of the few that will take criticism and think about it and learn from it and understand that I'm not perfect at all things and I don't want to be, but how can I capitalize on the strengths that I have? So goal setting, I love talking about business planning and I love talking about goals, but the one thing I've learned that has transformed my life is to get back to my personal goals, my family goals, and my spiritual goals.
Okay, look, it's your go. Your question is, what do you think distinguishes a leader from a manager?
I think there are probably a lot of great books written about this topic. But I'll give you my quick answer. I think a leader looks forward. They look backwards also, but I think a manager is someone who can do a great job of managing what's in front of them. Their team, a project, their family, whatever it may be. But a leader can do that, but also look forward and take what the past, present, what's going on in their managing, and then also look forward and try to project forward. And so that to me is the biggest difference. I think, I could probably write a book or a paragraph or two on the topic, but in a quick answer to round out this discussion, that's my answer. Thank you.
Right, so now we will ask the same question of each candidate, again, beginning with Tiffany and moving forward down the slate. So for all of you, what is the most valuable professional experience you've had so far?
Well, I've been blessed to have a lot of different professional experiences. When I graduated from University of South Alabama, which is in Mobile, and my degree was in education. So I started when I moved to Memphis. I taught in city schools for a couple of years before getting my real estate, my real estate license, just planning for that to be kind of a part-time gig to get me through the summer months, and realized pretty quickly that that didn't work out the way I thought it would, and ended up deciding to stick with real estate and did not go back to teaching right away. I was a relocation director for a couple of years, and then also did regular sales. And my husband and I had a home building company that we started in 2007, which if you've been in real estate, you know what a great idea that was. So we had kind of got caught right as the market tanked, and ended up deciding to move back to my hometown of Mobile, Alabama for a few years, kind of regroup. And during that time, I had let my teaching license expire. So I was going to have to go back and do some coursework to get that back up to date. And, when I moved back, I ended up finding out that there was a position open at the University of Mobile for a golf coach, which is how I got through college on a golf scholarship. I applied for that job thinking, whoa, this is going to be, a dream job here. And it was the right job at the right time. When I interviewed with the athletic director, he said one of the job responsibilities would be maintenance of the school's driving range. Okay, I mean, how hard can that be? Well, that involved, I never cut the grass before. Involved learning how to drive one of those 360 grass cutting machines around, and the grass it rains like every other day in Mobile, maybe every day during the summer. So by the time it would dry out enough to cut the grass, and like that. And then it also involved driving a little thing around, picking up balls and dumping that in the very heavy balls into the ball machine. So I would say that was a very humbling experience. It didn't pay a lot of money, but it paid enough, at the time to kind of get by. But those kinds of experiences, and I guess if you want to call it professional development, you look back on that and it gives you a whole different perspective on gratitude in life. And definitely in our world, we kind of get out there and do everything we have to do to make the deals work. And I think that was a valuable lesson. It also was a valuable lesson on getting through when things are good, putting money away to get through the difficult times, because we all know how this industry could be. So you wouldn't think grass cutting would rank as a valuable professional experience, but it definitely was.
I'm gonna make it very short. Sweet. For me, personal relationship is the most valuable, and giving second chance to anybody.
That was short and sweet. Well, for me, I would say that my most valuable professional experience was again, an experience that was here at MAAR. I took leadership MAAR. I always tell people when they meet me, I'm probably the most misunderstood person I know. And MAAR taught me, one, that I was a really strong introvert. I wasn't depressed. So I was glad to know that, because you know, some of the things that my friends enjoyed doing, me, not so much. So it really helped me understand not only who I was as a professional and as a leader, but it also helped me to understand how to communicate with my clients. Because just because we all speak English doesn't mean that we speak the same language and we communicate the same way. So Leadership MAAR taught me how I was perceived by other people and how to project what I needed them to understand in the way, what I needed them to know, or how I was trying to communicate with them in a way that they would understand. So it was very important for me. It's changed my life. It's changed my business. It's also changed my home life, even the way that I communicate with my children. So it has really helped me with communication, because being misunderstood, I had to figure out ways to communicate with people in a way that they would get it for me.
Probably the recession taught me the most. It's been the most valuable professional experience for me. I learned something so horrible could bring many gifts and teach many lessons. It taught me not to get comfortable. Pay attention to what's going around, because there's always change happening. Adapt to change and reinvent myself as needed. Keep moving. Go out every day. You're going to meet somebody or make a connection with someone who wants to do business in real estate. Just keep moving and go quietly on. Thank you.
For me, serving on the Shelby County Board of Equalization was very enlightening. And I was the youngest person on this board by at least 20 years. And it was a process that I was unfamiliar with. It contacted MAAR, one of the city councilmen, and so they got the names of some appraisers. We interviewed with Bill Boyd, and so that's how I was appointed to that board. But I learned so much about the property tax appeal business, and learned about it from also, more importantly, the taxpayer side. And taxpayers go into it just so uninformed, and I really got a lot out of serving on that board. And it was 2 years, it was 2009 to 2011. I learned so much, and it was great that I was able to take that experience and transition it into another real estate business.
Mine is going to be a big combination of personal and professional. I came into real estate in 2015, had been an agent maybe 3 to 6 months. My husband and I had just bought that home, that second home, moved up, and I had 2 children in private school. So we had a lot of adjustment, and my husband was laid off. And I can remember we had that moment, here I am in real estate, 100% commission. I'm a rookie, and he just lost his job, and we have a new mortgage and 2 private school tuitions to pay. And I can remember going into the office, I was a little emotional, and I had a couple of agents that were very seasoned in there that day. And as I told everybody what was going on, I had an agent look me in the face, and she said, "Well, you're either going to sink or swim, and I'm not going to let you sink." And so those seasoned agents kind of took me under their wing. And that year I learned hustle. I learned you do what it takes with laser-like focus, because I had 4 individuals depending on me to do this. And so for me, that was a big moment in this career, because I may not have jumped in as hard and fast and furious as I did, but I learned so much that year. And I also learned, even though we're all independent contractors, agents will swoop in and support you and help you and get you where you need to be. And that was just an incredible journey. So for me, that was a life-changing moment in my professional life.
I would have to say my professional experience that I value the most is the 8 years I spent at Lausanne before I became a realtor. I had two amazing bosses that probably put too much on me, but I'm thankful for it. And one of them would always joke, he was like, "This is a resume builder." And I'm like, "I just think you're delegating your job off to me," but okay. But I did learn a lot. They gave me a lot of responsibility and opportunities there. And being in the meetings with the leadership team at that school just really helped me to think strategically and look ahead and really plan through what you're doing and take it seriously. The mindset there really encouraged me to be better at my job and to take pride in my job. And that's what I did there. And that's what kind of led me to take on this job, because I worked so hard there. And if you make an hourly, job, you're not going to get a bonus at the end of the school year for all the things you did, even if you did spend all those extra hours. And so I kind of decided to do something that would pay off the more time I spent, the more I invested in myself. And that's why I got into real estate. But I know it was that experience at Lausanne. That's why I have the mindset that I do now. So I'm very thankful for that.
And if I get emotional in this, I'm sorry. Last year was the biggest leadership learning lesson for me. From the moment I stepped foot into 2020, I didn't know what we were getting into in the world and the state of the world and in a pandemic. Our office moved, 2 weeks before everything hit with COVID. And this is the emotional part, I'm sorry, we lost two incredible agents that were very involved at MAAR and were some of our investors. And I learned as a leader, as you can tell, I'm very vulnerable. I don't have to be a strong leader, and I don't have to have a hard shell, and I don't have to have all the right answers. But what I do have to do is serve and lead and provide hope and peace and love for the agents in our community, and honestly, agents nationally and worldwide. And it was a very hard lesson for me. I thought I had all the leadership training prior to going into 2020, and I came out a completely different leader at the end of the year. And I'm so honored to have had those hard lessons, but also to have that vulnerability as a leader is so important because we're human. And I have learned that Sarah's hard exterior doesn't build true relationships and solid relationships. And sometimes it's important for me to let that guard down and show people who I really am. So that was my leadership lesson.
I think I've learned the most professionally during the downtimes and the failures. Last year in commercial real estate, for anything other than industrial real estate, it was pretty tough. And you learn a lot about kind of yourself. And then even with failures, with whether we pitch some business and don't get it or lose a client, oftentimes it is your fault, something you could have done better or whatnot. Sometimes we've lost pitches. We've lost clients because the new COO wanted to hire his fraternity brother, who doesn't really do real estate, but, has a license. So, sometimes it's your fault and sometimes it's not. But when the down times happen, 2020 for us, on the commercial side or losing a client, you kind of look inward. And sometimes you learn things about yourself that you need to do better. And sometimes you learn that you're doing just fine. Sometimes the world, things just don't work out. So, thank you.
Thank you all for such great presentations. I know that you guys will enjoy the journey and the hard work it takes to run for a seat on the board of directors. You all are appreciated. Remember, everybody, the candidate bios are on the Weekly Realtor on the email. It's been on there the last couple of Mondays. Each candidate took time to make videos, so please take a chance, take a moment, take a look at those videos if you have not already done so. They're on Facebook, they're on MAAR.org, they're on our YouTube channel, so take a look at those. The candidates have already met our state as presidents. They've received advice from them, and from some of our current board members. The one thing I guess I would tell the candidates is that it's important to remember that it's an honor to be here and to be nominated. We have 4,500 members and you guys are here, so you're winners already. I know people say, oh, you say that, but I'll say for me personally, I ran the board 3 times before I finally made the board, and now I'm the president. So don't be discouraged, have fun, get to know people, just show up, as Tia said, show up. Service on the board will be an opportunity to learn how the association works, as well as help you to make decisions for our association. I'm serving on the board, that's what you're doing. Stand up and you're here to represent the 4,500 members. So you're in that room, we take our company hats off and we make decisions for the membership, and that's what's most important. One thing that I would ask all of you here, which is what I've been saying all year, those people who are watching, is each one reach one. If you see somebody that is doing a good job, invite them to get involved in the board. We have to grow new leaders in order to make our association strong. So that's my one thing that I'm asking of our candidates, those of you here, those of you watching, each one reach one. It's really, really important. That's the end of my spiel. I'm gonna turn it over to Bill and he's gonna lead us on that.
The good part. Well, we want to say thank you guys for this humongous commitment to run and serve if you get elected. I'm really proud to see past board members and current board members, past president here today. You've got support everywhere. Always remember that. Everybody's got your back. You don't have to worry about a thing. But also remind everybody that there's a town hall about the proposed amendments. When is it? Friday, August 27th at 9 a.m. here. It will be on Zoom also. So one way or the other, please make sure you're involved with that. And don't forget about voting. Everybody must vote. Every vote counts. And it ends at midnight, 11:59 on the 8th of September. And 4 of you will be winners on the night. He's already a winner. He got the easy gig. So. But I encourage you, don't just run off when we leave here. Chat with these guys, get to know them, the ones especially you don't know, and just vote. Remember that. Please vote. Thank you, guys.